Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Halton Hills housing update. So lots to talk about today with the unofficial May numbers, and something we are going to be talking a lot about probably this month is the changes that this new stress test might start to present in the market. So now let's talk about our May over May numbers. So in May of 2020, the first half was really quiet, but at the end of May is really when we started to feel the real estate market slowly coming back. By June, we were in full force, but May, it was showing signs that people were ready to get back into the market. So in May of 2020, we sold 64 units. But what surprises me looking back now is that our average price then was around $912,000. And no surprise, average days on market was 30 then. So now looking at this past May, the numbers are showing less than I thought they were, like compared to March and April. I know we talked about it was quiet, but then it kind of ramped up, and it seems like the last 2 weeks have been getting a little more quiet. I don't know if people are waiting to see what happens with this stress test, but the May numbers aren't as high as I thought they were going to be. So in May of 2021, we sold 105 units, which is down from this year, but compared to last year, it's up 64%. So no huge surprise there that we are way better than last year. And in terms of average price, we've been seeing like a 30% increase year over year. This month, it's only 14% year over year. So our market really started picking up in June. So I imagine our year over year prices, the gap is gonna start to close because we had a really good year last year. So it will be interesting to see as we go on in this year, if our prices stay high and what kind of increase we see year over year. Because like last year, by the end of the summer, we were like, this is as good as it's gonna get. And now we've seen huge jumps. So I think that 14% is a bit of an anomaly. And again, it's unofficial. There's some sales that probably happened in the last few days that aren't reported. But yeah, our prices aren't as crazy year over year in May. So that's interesting. Another interesting thing to note, in May of 2020, the average list to sale price ratio was 97.7%. So properties were getting under asking. And then this year it's 108% sale price to list price ratio. So big jump there. So now let's look at what happened last week. So in Georgetown last week, we had 22 sales, good number, much better than the 2 weeks previous, and 15 of those sold over asking. The bad news again is we only had 17 new properties enter the market. Our inventory, I really thought by now we'd be going up, but it is going backwards in Georgetown week to week, so not great news. In Acton this week, we had 4 sales, good number there, and we had 2 new listings, so inventory is gonna be down there too. In Glen Williams this week, no sales reported and 2 new listings. In Limehouse, we had 1 sale and no new listings. And the rural market, I am watching this closely because it is definitely shifting. The rural market only had 1 sale. We did not see a lot of sales in the rural market in May. And we had 4 new listings. So every week this month, we've been seeing the inventory climb and not a ton of sales because we have had so much become available in town. Even though our inventory numbers are down in town, we still have had some really good products come up in May. So I think that's impacting the rural market. So now looking at active inventory, we are down to 90 active listings. 2 weeks ago, we were at 103. Last week, we were at 97. And this week, we are only at 90. It's awful. So 8 of them are in the sold conditional status, which is interesting because again, more people are getting conditions in there. I spoke with my home inspector and we determined that we have not done a home inspection together since October because none of my clients can secure a house with conditions. So it's really nice to see 8 properties sold conditional. Bad news for Georgetown buyers though, we are down to 42 active listings from 49. So that number just keeps dropping. Looking at our price points this week, Our lower end is up and our higher end is down. So under 700,000 is up to 5 active listings from 4. 700 to 800,000 is up to 8 active listings, which is a good number in that pocket, just up from 7, but still good. Our higher price points are really what's been challenging us in Georgetown. So our 800 to $1 million is down significantly this week. From 15 active listings, we are down to 9 active listings. Not enough available in that price point. Another thing to note is our $1 million+ price point. We were feeling a climb there for like several weeks. And last week we were at 25 and this week we're down to 20. So that inventory, when it's good, it's going, and lots of buyers in that price point. Still, it's crazy. So overall, inventory's down, and can people just list their houses, please? Like, this is getting crazy. So now in Acton, we are down to 10 active listings from 13. So not a huge drop, but like 10 there is not enough. All but 1 are under $1 million. So some variety there, but it's still very scarce. Glen Williams this week is sitting at 6 active listings, which is up from 4. And that's the highest number we've seen in the Glen in a really long time. 1 product available under $1 million. Otherwise you need some big bucks there. Limehouse is down to 5 active listings, but that's still a super high number for Limehouse. And the rural market, like I kind of alluded to earlier, we are now up to 27 active listings. There was a point, I'm just gonna look back here, we were sitting at 13, 19, 15. So to be at 27, we are sitting really high. The rural market is certainly changing. So I think that has to do with the fact that we've seen so much happening in town, but the numbers are a bit all over the place. And I think this back half of the month has been halted and slowed down because of the proposed changes coming to the stress test. And I think some people are waiting to see what happens. So in regards to that, last week, they kind of last minute made an announcement. Leading up to last week, we thought that it was going to be just insured mortgages. So people with over 20% down being impacted with the stress test changes. They announced last week that it is now insured and uninsured. So even people that have less than 20% down now have to get approved with the new stress test numbers. This has to have an impact on the market because at the end of the day, people are not going to be able to spend as much money. I do think it's going to shift things a bit. Last time we had stress test changes implemented, it like kind of blipped the market for 2 weeks, but then we were like right back at it. So it's going to be really interesting to watch what happens in June. We have not seen our new inventory numbers that we would normally be seeing in May. So I don't know, if we don't see the listings coming up in June, I still think the market's gonna be very good. Things are just kind of, I think, in an in-between where people are not sure what's happening. And a lot of people, like today, everyone has to get pre-approved. Majority of lenders are requiring people to get pre-approved again. I can't wait actually to see what happens in June. I think all of us are ready for a bit of a cool down and a bit more of a balanced market. It already feels like things are changing a bit and things are a little less crazy. I don't really know what's gonna happen. And I definitely think what's interesting is our higher price points right now are much busier than our lower price points. So June is going to be interesting to watch. Our week-to-week numbers, I think, are going to also be really interesting. Who knows what's going to happen here? But the market's still busy. Buyers are still out in full swing. We might have like a blip this week where people are having to get reapproved and aren't feeling confident with their buying power right now. So I'll be back next Tuesday. I'm really excited to report what's going to happen in June with our vaccinations rolling out and life feeling like marginally closer to normal. I think that is going to change our market. People may start, leaving town a bit more. And I do just think things are going to start changing. And I don't think the back half of 2021 will be as crazy as the first half. but maybe I'm wrong because I didn't think 2021 could be crazier than 2020, and it is. So if you are a buyer, make sure you are touching base with your mortgage broker or your bank to ensure that your pre-approvals are in place and correct based on the current changes. And we'll see what this does to the market. Maybe this changes things, it very well could, but I really think we need more listings to really feel a massive shift in this market. So I'll be back next Tuesday. Have a great week, everyone. It's supposed to be beautiful. Yay, have a good one.